Yo, yo, yo. It's Thursday, the best night of the week.
It is Thursday, that's for sure.
What's up, Dean?
Just happy to be alive.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me
Yeah,
both.
yeah.
We do have a wicked thunderstorm going on here with baseball size hail earlier.
Really? Oh,
So
wow.
power's been fine so far. But if all of a sudden I disappear, you know what happened.
Yeah, yeah. I get to go back to work.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man.
What's new and exciting in your world?
Well, I'm working on the Prius, the new SPL vehicle. It's coming up, so I've got the head unit in, got the steering wheel controls figured out. This weekend, actually tomorrow, I took off tomorrow, so I believe I'm going to go ahead and get the components put in, get the doors all um, sound dead. I know you've worked on plenty of Priuses, second gens. Like, have you? I didn't realize this because this was Bailey's car. I never drove it. Like the way the door sounds when you close it,
Yeah,
it might be the worst sounding door. I've never heard a door like that.
dude,
That
that's
bad.
Toyota, bro.
Is it really? It's
Yeah.
just a Toyota. Yeah, it's like just got it has reverb when you close the door, and it's like
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah. That's it's funny. While I think at the Princess race, Fernando was like, "Yeah, I dynamitted a Chevy truck," and I go, "What did you put in it?" He goes, "No, that's it. We just did a ground zero kit in the front and back doors of this truck." And I go, "That's it?" He goes, "Yeah, it took 2 days." He goes, "The thing was just so noisy," and the guy was like, "You guys need to quiet this for me." And I was like, "Wow!" So he did 2 ground zero kits. We had a guy with a Corolla Camry. Guy with a Camry came in, had us do one trip was the front doors, the next trip was the back doors and the rear deck. Um, no stereo, just that, and we're like,
Dude, on
wow.
some of these cars, it's totally worth it.
I mean, I'm all for a louder stereo.
What's up, Andy's dad?
What's
What's
up?
happening? Yeah, and Byron says he sounded in his 2019 Tundra sounded like a tin can, and I've heard his vehicle sounds pretty good.
It's funny. You know, noise cancellation and fake engine noise and all that stuff is really geared around putting noise in and or removing noise so they don't have to sound dampen the car.
Right? Yeah.
And today we were working on a Mustang that had ANC in it, and I'm like, it's a convertible. Why does it need this? it's like the dumbest thing ever. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is dumb.
Well, have you had to work on any with the fake subwoofer or whatever they use to make the engine noises? Have you had
Oh,
to?
you mean like the EVs that have like a speaker
Yeah.
underneath? No. That's I mean this is just piped in fake engine noise.
Yeah.
That's when you rev up the gas,
Sounds a little bit better.
it
Yeah.
goes through the audio system. Most people don't even realize they have it, but
Yeah.
you can test for it with an RTA.
Well.
Like we have a video with the IRTA2 showing you what it looks like and how to test for it. Um, Disabling it is becoming the future pain in the ass that we're all just dreading. Like I don't understand why manufacturers feel the need to do this. It doesn't add anything to it. There's nobody asking for this in their cabin to make it noisier.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense.
You remember in the '90s when all the door chimes and everything were tied into the damn radio? That
Yeah.
was. I remember that being a slight annoyance back in the day.
Right. Well, I mean, GM, ding ding ding. It's it's funny because nowadays it's one of those things where these easily fixed with the right processor.
Yeah.
When Metric came out with their Amp Pro for that, because Metric makes Amp Pro DSP stuff that most people don't ever talk about. That was the first thing they did. So they sell a high level to low level interface for that will take care of door chime, because it's the same frequency every time. It's not like it's different. So they can easily put an EQ band in there that controls the output of it. And the solution for it was always EQ. You have an RTA, you can see right where it's chiming.
Yeah.
And if you go in and take one of the bands and just bring it down, then you solve the problem. The problem is that everyone would freak out and be like, well, what about the other side? And it's like, all right, well, if you're that worried about it, just bring them both down on both sides. It's an obscure frequency that isn't going to affect anything.
Yeah.
But the real solution, what like Metro and those guys would do is, they could control the volume, or they would just use a notch filter. And a notch filter it's a pro level piece, because like when you look at a DSP, everyone's like, oh, you got to have parametric. And you're like, well, okay. So parametric is one thing, and that gives you adjustable Q. Then you have a notch filter, which is exactly what it sounds like. You literally just, and you can do it with a parametric EQ. So if you have a parametric EQ and it's like, I forget what frequency that obnoxious thing is, like 86 or 80 or 90, I don't know, it's some stupid number. And so you just parametric EQ, Q real narrow, and pull the fucker down, and no more chime. A notch filter works very similar. You can pick a high and low point and narrow Q, and it just basically does that. It makes a notch and brings it down. And then you have shelving, high shelf, low shelf. So like the notch would work between those. But you have a high shelf, which I think is a high shelf and a low shelf to me are like the two coolest filters out there, because like if you have bass equalization issues, like if there's a high pass filter in there on the subwoofer, if you have access to a low shelf, you can easily make an inverted EQ band that fixes the whole thing, because you just literally, if your roll off is here, you put your low shelf at the same frequency, just gain it up,
bring it all up,
and it's like, oh, okay, cool.
So I've never messed with a shelf
filter.
So do you get to pick the bands, or are they bands?
So think of it. It looks like a crossover. Like if the drawing or the rendering of it looks like a crossover. So you pick your slope point like you would a crossover. So and the cool thing is if you're looking at like an RTA, and you have an infinitely adjustable frequency range, which most of the time you do, you can just sit there and watch as I want to make it. Like I just had to do one in in this Mercedes we worked on, because the mid-range and the tweeter are on the same channel, and because it's a passive active system in a German car, and we mimicked that. But I wanted to have more tweeters, so I got everything the way I wanted it, but then I wanted a brighter tweeter, and they didn't have attenuation on the tweeter. So I just made a notch filter, I just made a high shelf that was, and I just sat there and I knew right where I wanted it, and I just put in a number, and I just kept working that number until I got the results I wanted. Just kept moving it over until all the frequencies to the right of it that I was looking to boost were showing that activity that I wanted. And what that does is it looks like a crossover. So let's say you're at like 8,000 hertz. Everything from 8,000 hertz and over, depending on what your Q is, there's always that, is going to boost, let's say 3 dB or 6 dB or 12. You never 12 dB, but you're going to do that. Or the inverse is true. If everything is like you have super high highs, and you just want to bring them all down. Like you're fine with the curve, but
Right.
you're like, I just need to lower this shit. You can do the same thing. So you could go to like, let's say it's at 5,000. Everything from 5,000 up is just roasting the shit out of you. So you have, let's say, loudspeakers. You want to tone them down. You do a high shelf, and you can just bring down everything from 5,000 just like you're just moving the whole line down, as
Instead of
opposed
going
to
in
like,
there and doing it individually.
yeah, it's still going 3 dB, 3 dB,
Right.
3 dB, 3 dB, 3 dB.
Right.
You know, you just move everything from that point over down 3 dB. A good example of that is anyone that has a Kenwood head unit or a new Alpine head unit. You go into the front setting, it has the tweeter setting, and everyone always goes, well, what the hell is that? And there's a level there. What it's doing is it's adding a high shelf, but a cut. So if your tweeters are just like, damn, you can shelf out the tweeters. Now, if you buy the Exelon floating screen, the 10-inch, you can activate the parametric EQ. And inside of the parametric EQ, it gives you the option to change bands to low shelf, high shelf. I think there's a notch, as well as parametric bands. So you get all these options in the head unit, and you get like 2 for front, 2 for rear, 1 for sub, and then there's 8 total on top of that. So like you have this massive EQ that you can play with. So you have 2 bands front and rear, and then 8 bands or 9 bands globally, and then 1 band for subwoofer.
That's it.
It's
trying to think, because I have the JVC that I put in there. I might
just on the floating screen.
Just on the floating, okay.
So you'd have to have the JVC.
Because I have the JVC and a kicker key, which you know that I like to change some of the kicker key. I'll just have to do it manually. It'll be fun.
I mean, with that, I would just run the key.
Yeah.
Let it do its thing.
Yeah,
and then I would just adjust the radio after the fact and leave it alone.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, because there's no point in like rerunning it, because with an aftermarket radio, you have infinite adjustability. The key is just going to give you a baseline. So if you're a 0 guy, you just leave it alone, let it do its thing. But if you're like, oh, I want a treble boost today, or I'm just listening to talk radio or whatever the hell's going on, Question for Dean: are the head unit installs that require an interface to retain climate controls, are they very difficult? Seems pretty plug and play. Any head unit up would be awesome. So you're referring to like an iData RR style install. And they've made them as easy as you want them to be, I guess would be the best. So now, when you buy a modern RR, you buy RR and RR2. So the RR2 gives you 3 controllable outputs depending on the radio that you have. You can control from the radio, and or you can program buttons to do those. So for example, if you have steering wheel controls and you have a garage door opener, and you could solder in a relay into the garage door opener, and you could just, let's say, hold volume up, and it would open your garage door. So those are programmable features that you can do, or just the regular RR. When those go into a car, so you buy the RR, and then you buy the corresponding harness for the car. Kenwood does the best job of air conditioning controls, because it is up to the radio manufacturer to design the GUIs for their radios. So, for example, Pioneer, Sony, Kenwood, JVC, they'll all control air conditioners. But if you want a sexy interface that looks really nice, that's up to the radio manufacturer to design that. And most of them, like Sony and Pioneer, put no effort into it at all. So it looks very cheesy, very Pac-Man-y from Atari day.
Looks very Pioneer is what you're saying?
Yeah, whereas like Kenwood, they add like flowing air that's blue, and it's red if it's hot, and it's
so
like
more Tesla-esque.
Very Tesla looking. Now, those, so you buy what's called an HR harness now. HR stands for harness ready. So if you buy a Kenwood, you buy an HR harness, and then you can buy either a Ken 1 or a Ken 2 harness. If you buy one of those, then you plug it into, so there's on the HR harness, there's a end, and then you buy the corresponding Ken 1 or 2. It'll plug into it, and it'll plug into your car, and it'll plug into your radio, and you do not have to make any connections at all. There is a remote turn-on wire hanging out at the other end, and that's it. So you can literally unbox it, go to your computer, flash it, download the installation manual so you know what harness is, because a lot of the times they'll come with harness, like buy a Toyota harness, it comes with all the Toyota harnesses. Ford will come with specific harnesses for Ford that could be for models you don't have. So it'll tell you which ones to use, and on the bottom it says these are the harnesses you throw away. And then you just plug it in, tuck it all in, and you can be done. I'm not that guy. I'm extra, as we all know. So I'll actually take the whole harness apart, retape it. I'll add in 4 extra wires to it. So because we do dash cams and backup cameras and all that shit. And when they designed the harness, they didn't design it with that intention. And I've been bitching at them for 2 years now to fix it.
Yeah.
And so, so I'll solder in a red, yellow, and a black and a blue externally so that we can plug in all our add-ons at a later date, which is kind of nice. But that's just what we do there.
Well, when I put the JVC into the Prius, I'm glad that I did read the instructions, because you actually need to solder a resistor in for your climate controls to work right. So, like, had I not seen that, or took the time to, because it's all plug and play except for that.
So the iData would never make you do that.
Yeah, that's what, because this was what I was leading up to with the question is they could solve that on their end, right?
Yes.
They could jump them and put the resistor in the harness.
Yeah.
And
so iData doesn't have you jump through any hoops. Every now and then, like there's a Mustang and an F-150 where the way the car, it's only like 1 year where the car was designed, where the stupid what are they? I can't. The Microsoft system that they put in that stupid thing.
Oh, the sync.
Yeah, sync. Where the sync is steering wheel controls go through the sync module, and so you have to run a pigtail, one wire from your installation that's all plug and play over to the sync module and tap in. So that was like 1 year before did that, and they only did it for like 1 or 2 years, and that was it. That's like, and they tell you. It's this wire. It's in this harness. It's this color. Tap that, and it's literally just done.
Yeah,
you know. But no, their instructions are really good. But yeah, I mean, there again, they've made it as easy as humanly possible, because now you don't even have to solder the harness on. And I got to be honest, I love it. It still takes me like 20 to 30 minutes to prep a harness, because you're paying us to do it, and you're coming to us because we're us. So you're going to get the 5-star treatment, which means I'm going to make it look as sexy as I possibly can, even if it's a freaking radio install. But it's personal preference. But I mean, we've seen plenty of them where they've come in and it's like, zip, and it's like, hey, it works. It works.
Anybody that's watched the video has seen you depin several harnesses.
Yeah. But no, Ford Focus 16 for the neighbor. He wanted to hardwire. Told him, I'll look. Oh, screw that. You ain't hardwired shit.
Can you? Do people still do that? Just cut the
yeah, dumbasses totally still do it.
Dude,
yeah.
No, especially on a nuke. I could see in the 90s, but a nuke, I can't even.
Oh, no, dude. We've had guys come in. I can't remember what it was. Guy came in, just whacked the harness off. It was, and Fernando went out there and looked at it. It was like a 2020 Toyota something, and with the JBL system, and the guy just went in and started cut the harness right off, and Fernando was like, what the fuck? He's like, bro, you're on your own, man.
Go home.
Yeah, I mean, and it's always the asshole that cuts the harness, always cuts it so close so you can't,
right.
you know, or it's like, oh, I gotta fix this. Oh, Jesus, it's gonna take me 2 hours because I gotta go in and solder on each one of those pins if I can't repin it. Oh, it's so stupid.
Right, nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I mean, even on older cars, like they'll come in and it's like, dude, the harness was $10, man.
Exactly.
What the? Like now I gotta solder in another harness, and
I've done
Oh,
it before, like
stupid.
when I was 15 and 16, because I was just a stupid kid.
Yeah.
But as soon as you realize, like, oh, just buy this, plug this, wire
Yeah.
this, it's good to go. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, it's like,
That's what I got it. So I got to shout out Crutchfield here. Now I'm not an affiliate with Crutchfield at all or anything, but they'll you can have them do your harness for $10.
yeah, it looks like shit.
Right. But compared to
I
what
mean,
someone might do that's doing it themselves, who knows?
yeah. Yeah, you need to learn how to make their own damn harness.
Right.
No
But
offense to the Crutchfield guys, but I'm not buying a blue butt connected harness, man. They're not
oh,
they're not
are they use the blue butts?
oh, they're using the butts, man. It's
Oh,
not a yeah, they're not gonna solder. Are you
yeah,
kidding me? No.
yeah. I'm not opposed to
There's
blue butt
so many
connection.
OSHA rules that they'd be breaking for that.
Yeah. But besides that, I was just like the experience of buying from Crutchfield versus other online stores, dude, it's night and day. Like you get
Yeah, I mean, Mary Lou works there now.
yeah.
And I don't know, man. I've tried to use their website just to find shit.
Yeah.
If you know what you're looking for, I feel it's very, but man,
The annoyance is they always want you to put a car in, and if it doesn't fit, they don't show it. And
yeah, like they're very vanilla.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, this stuff fits.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I mean, hey, look, if you got a second grade education, then you might not want to put your own stuff in. Maybe walk down the street and see if you can find somebody to actually do it for you. I don't know.
Well, people that have never done it, at least they have some research and stuff. Because here's what usually happens when you order from other car audio sites, it's all thrown in a box, not one thing of bubble wrap. You might get some paper. And, it's all smashed. You get it. No instructions, no nothing. It's like,
Yeah, I mean, Bob, I think I wish Crutchfield showed more brands to very fitment of stuff. And that's the thing, they carry so many brands, but it's like they don't always show like what you're looking for. And I'm like, okay, like you carry like I had to help her with the system design once. And I was like, hold on, let me go on the website and see what I have access to.
yeah.
And I was like, well, I thought you guys sell this. And it's like, well, we do. Well, it's not coming up. Oh, we can't use that anyways. And I was like, what? I mean, they sell Audio Frog. And I'm like, where's the Audio Frog stuff at? And oh, well, they you'd have to make custom brackets to put that in. And
Yeah.
well, we're not going to do that. I'm like, I mean, listen, I'm a non-box building individual, but I mean, there are brackets available to make this work. I mean, and if there isn't, maybe you guys should make some. I mean, shit.
And I think they're more like the Walmart of car audio. They're trying to reach not the enthusiasts, but
I don't think there's anything like Walmart. I don't think you can. I think maybe the Target, maybe. But
yeah, maybe Target. But what I'm saying is they have a lower level of. They're not selling to the guys in chat right here that are enthusiasts.
Dude, no, you'd be surprised who shows up with some fucking, Oh no.
Well, I just bought $1,000 worth of stuff from Crutchfield, but
yeah, no, dude,
I knew exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, so. I mean, I've had some like, you bought this where? And I was like, yeah, I got it. I mean, the funniest one was the guy that bought the full audio control system, and he bought the D series amplifiers and an LC7i. And I go, okay, what's the LC7i for? Oh, it was a recommended purchase. And I go, okay, all right. So this is a guy that designed his own system. And I'm like, okay, I poor life choices. So here we go.
Yeah.
This is wrong. This is wrong. Send this back. Send that back. You're not going to need this. Why did you even buy that? What are you trying to do? That's always the conversation. It always starts out that way. What are you trying to do? What is the goal? Because people will buy, and it's so funny too, because like if they were to walk into my store and I was to spend some time with them and custom design them a system, it would be more than what they wanted to spend, more than likely, but it would deliver on what they just asked for.
Yeah.
They'll go to Crutchfield. They'll have no idea what they're doing. They'll buy a whole bunch of shit. They'll come back into the store and they'll be like, I want to get this stuff installed. And you're like, and you just, we look at the puzzle pieces and we go, what are you trying to build? Because like none of this shit makes any sense. Oh, well, I want to do this. Okay, cool. But what made you think this was the right stuff? And it's like, and better yet, where are you going to put this? You just bought like this giant piece of equipment. Did you not look at the measurements? Did you think there's some magical place in your car where a 2-foot long piece will fit? I mean, and they're like, and you're like, okay, well, you have 30 days to return it. How long have you had it? And they're like, why would I want to return it? Because it's the wrong stuff. Some guys are like, okay, cool, let's return it and we'll get the right stuff. I just, and they'll be like, I just didn't know who to talk to. And I'm like, well, you found us to put it in, so you probably should have came to us. Did you think like
I never get
prices?
That if you buy now, if you have old stuff, I get that. But if you're buying new equipment, I just don't understand why you go to a stereo shop to have it installed and not try to go to the stereo shop first and buy it.
Oh, there's a plethora of reasons. You save $20.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I mean, you're not saving $20. I can say right now because every car stereo shop that you go to install your stuff in, if you don't buy it from them, they are charging you extra, and rightly so because they got to keep their lights on and they need to make money off of everything. So if you're trying to sidestep that shit, we got to make that money somewhere.
Yeah.
So I mean. Yeah, the thought process is not markup. Thank you. Yeah. It's not. Everything on Crutchfield is full bolt.
And I think that a lot of people, because there's, to be honest with you, especially there's very few car audio shops that people trust. Now,
and I get it.
Yeah. So it's like they think like, oh well, they can watch your channel and they know, oh, I already know what they do. Like they're gonna do this and they're gonna do it this way. But you go to somewhere else and you might end up on a 911 episode.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I had a guy come in last week and I was like, listen, man, I don't have time to deal with this right now. But come see me Thursday. And because it was like right when we got back and I was so tired.
Yeah.
And I was like, just come see me Thursday and we'll figure it out. And like this guy, I listened to his car and I was like, this is the worst sounding. This is worse than the factory system. Like you left with it sounding like this. And he's like, it's never going to get any better. Like I told him it sounded like crap. He's like, it sounds great. I'm like, no, this sounds like shit. So you got a 2020 Chevy non-Bose. The guy put all audio controls. So we put an audio control tweeter, 3.5, 6x9. Didn't get the passive crossover for the three of them. So it's just run. The tweeter and the mid-range have the factory crossover. And then the 3.5 is just running the cap, which is just running up. So, and they're like 4 inches apart from one another. So I'm like, oh, that's good. And he's got 6 speakers running on the front channels, 2 coaxials running on the rear channels, which is great. And then he's got like 15 LC 1500.1 powering the subs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, man, this sounds so bad. This is shit. I know they didn't do the DSP, and if they did, I don't know what they did with it because this is sucky. So, so we got it. So now we have to 911 this bitch. So we have to go in and we have to pull everything out and see what we can salvage. Meaning, like, can we keep his 4-gauge wire? Do they have a 0-gauge wire in there? Gonna need an amp rack because I think it's just screwed to the rear wall, which is great. So we'll have to seal that up. And it was just one of those things where it was like, God, there's just, and the guy that did it could have been a lifesaver by adding a $150 part. Would have made his life 100% better, but he didn't understand the product, and that's always the problem. And yeah, I'm running a Toslink in my DM810. Is it possible to run an epicenter? Yeah, I mean, out of the DM810. So out between the DM810. So, all right, this is where audio control and I argue about all the time, and they know I'm right because they're like, yeah, we know you're right. You're gonna come out of the DM810 into the epicenter, out of the epicenter into the sub amp, and then use the crossover in the sub amp. So that's it. Turn the crossover off in the DM810 and you'll be fine. That's how we do it. That's how we do it every single time. And guess what? It works fabulous. Because there again, why would you not want to run Toslink? It's kind of silly not to.
I don't. To be honest, in 2024, I don't see a use for me for an epicenter. Back in the day, I used it, but I don't listen to that type of music anymore. So there's no.
Well, like back to the Kenwood radio. The Kenwood radio has a bass feature.
Yeah.
And I've A/B'd the bass feature against an epicenter.
Yeah.
And
pretty close.
It's not only pretty close, it sounds better.
Oh, man.
It does, because it doesn't get all.
Yeah.
You know? And you can turn it on and off. It has 3 levels. So, I mean, it's like, you know, because I had a guy that came in and he's like, I want to install my epicenter. And I go, but you have a Kenwood hedge in it. He goes, so? And I go, watch this. And everything. He's like, holy shit, that's built in my radio? I go, yeah. I still want to install my epicenter. I go, of course you do. So we put it in. And I was like, and? Listen, man, you spent the money. I know that's all you wanted to do. I tried to talk you out of it. I gladly took your money. No Toslink on the D6 1200. Sad. Yeah, you know, it's funny because there isn't, and there is a way to do it, but it doesn't exist in the world yet. And I don't know if we're ever going to get it. But yeah, that there was actually, it's not that hard to do. It's just a matter of Stinger not doing it because the piece is already made. But yeah, so it's kind of sad.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, I know.
You're doing something that we don't want.
Yeah, you know, and there again, it's one of those things where it's like, who's going to buy it, right? I mean,
yeah.
You know, their experience has shown that the Toslink output that you have to buy optionally for your Amp Pro doesn't move. That's why
most people aren't going to use a Toslink or even be worried about it.
I tell you what, if I had a Ford and I had to use some form, if I had to use a BO adapter, that amp better have a Toslink because that motherfucker is going to have noise and it's going to suck because you cannot get rid of it to save your ass. Like, it's so bad. Like, I mean, we've had a couple that have just been like, and sometimes like Amp Pros work great, sometimes they don't. And like, you know, when we used to use Zen, we'd use a Zen module and it would have noise. And, you know, I was like, there's nothing we can do. And then, you know, we'd pull that out, we'd put an Amp Pro in and the noise would go away or the noise would be less. And it's like, it's just random shit. But when you go to the Toslink, there's no noise. Life is good. Like, okay, well, whatever's doing this is negated. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I have DC Audio Lava 3 4-horn power.
There's Dean, you just hard reset Dean.
Yeah. I have no idea what he's typing, man.
I think he might have been in a hurry.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh.
35 or 40.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 35.
Yeah. 35.
Amp Pro works. Amp Pro work great until they blow a MOSFET, which causes some weird electrical drain issue. I had one that I replaced due to this issue. Yeah, you know, and here's the thing. It's not just Amp Pro. Everything works great until it doesn't, right? Can we all agree on that? everything that's working and it's working awesome. Is that for noise only for BO systems? Yeah, and there again, it's like we'll do 100 BO systems and 5 of them will be weird. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I mean, but there again, that's one of those things that, and there again, anything could have noise. 40, of course.
Do you get the reference on that one?
Yeah. So the humor in all of this is like most modern equipment that is not repurposed 80s equipment that like they just took 80s technology and shined it up and is built really well. Like you buy an Alpine amplifier or a Moscone or you buy a brand, a big brand, not the other guys.
Yeah.
And that it's not picking on the other guys. Some of their stuff is fantastic, but the amount of time that these guys spend on noise rejection, like Kicker, Jesus Christ, and Rockford's the same way. I mean, these guys, they have so many ways of screwing shit up and checking it.
Yeah.
Which is impressive. And if they have like just a Class D amplifier screwing up FM and AM, that's a big deal. Like a lot of these inexpensive FM or amplifiers will go into cars and they're just bleeding RF. And it's not only the FM that gets affected, it's AM, and it could be other systems in the car that are wirelessly transmitting. These Class D amplifiers can just be brutal. So it's like you got to be careful where you're putting them and hoping that it's like there's nothing there. That's why under the seat is a great location to put an amplifier because there's nothing around it.
Right.
Usually, every now and then there might be something in the center console.
Yeah.
What's that?
Your heated seat goes crazy, melts.
Yeah. But every now and then there might be something in the center console, but typically the stuff in the center console is hardened because of coffee.
Yeah.
Because for some reason everybody spills their coffee. Ah, there you go.
There you go.
Pocket knife collector. Yeah, there you go.
Good, man. Me too.
I think we all did that at least once.
Yeah,
and then you're like, what am I going to do with all these knives?
Cut things.
I mean, there's some dude. Trust me. All through Christmas, the giants, the giant like knives that are everywhere now. They're just like these. You see this guy cutting steak, and he's like, "I'm grizzly. I haven't shaved. I'm a man." And you're like, get this one for your spouse. It's like a 1/4 inch thick, and it's, the fucking blade is like this on it. And you just look at it and go, I ain't got nothing to cut, but fuck, I want one of those. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I'll just probably open envelopes.
Yeah.
And I don't even have any envelopes. Shit, it's just gonna sit in my drawer, and I'll be like, you need to cut something?
Yeah.
You got to cut the tag off your shirt? No problem, man. Oh, they're tearaway now?
Dude, I just do every knife collector's worst nightmare, and I open packages with my pocket knives.
It's
mainly what I do. Or if I'm fishing or camping, obviously.
I don't know. Okay, early 2000 Chevy, better to use DSR1 between the head unit and bypass the Bose amp, or use. I mean, it's a 2010 Chevy. That radio is coming out, man. Like, I'm not even entertaining the idea, but more than likely, you're probably gonna go with the Metro piece. But a 2010, you should be able to replace the radio with that. Like, I'm not keeping that radio. That's the shittiest radio on the face of the earth.
I feel like you almost always, unless it's very obtuse to replace the radio.
Well, okay.
There's some that are really hard, and it's like, it's not worth doing.
Yeah, it's a $500 kit, right?
Right.
I mean, a guy with an Armada came in today, and it's like he wants to put a high 10. I'm like, okay, that's cool, because he's got a high 10. I said, the kit's going to cost you more than the high 10 did. And he's like, I'm like, but whatever, man. If you want to do it, that's what it's going to cost.
Right.
The reverse side of that is trying to integrate into that factory radio. It was a 2008, so it's kind of right where he's at. And 2014, that cannot come out. I'd be curious to know what Chevy it is, because Metro makes a lot of adapters for those. Either way, it's a DSR1 might not be the right tool to fix that. If iData makes interfacing into it because it has bows, that's one thing. Like that's a viable solution for it, and that'll get you the best that you can. SS sedan. The Australian car. So those are unique in that it might be variable voltage out of the head unit back to the amplifier, which is actually really cool. So that was like the Camaro was the same thing. It was just like RCA going into the Bose amp, and mine would have been going in the Boston Acoustic amp. At that point, you just had 4 variable voltage outputs. You slap a DSR1 in there, and you're rocking and rolling. It's fantastical. So, yeah, I would get the DSR1 if that just has. But it's easy enough to check that. Like we have a couple videos how to check that. But you're just gonna play a test tone, take your digital multimeter, go back to one of the speaker wires out of the radio. So you can do behind the radio or at the amplifier, and just AC. Turn the volume up. If it goes up, the number goes up. Turn the volume down, number goes down. It's easier if you do it just playing like pick like a test tone, because otherwise, just pick a test tone, play something like 200 hertz, and AC, turn it up. If it goes up, it goes down. And then you can use that to figure out what is front and rear. So you don't even need an RTA. So you can, you play the 200 hertz track once you find out it's variable. And then you just go into your fader control and you start picking, left, right, front, rear, and you'll eventually figure out that's going to shut off. And then you go back and when it's on and you've narrowed it down to one corner, then that is that wire. If you can't go online and dude, we've had to do that before. It's like
sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, but I mean, there again, it can be. I mean, luckily now things are better and easier. But yeah, it's what you did. Kids nowadays, they just go buy the fucking T harness, man. T harness. And I think one of those, like the GM in that era, they love to take one speaker and put it backwards. So it's like the plug will go positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive, and you'll be like, "Bitch, what the hell?" Same as the 2012 Impala Bose amp with 3 plugs. Yeah, it's over on the passenger rear quarter panel. We did that car. We have a video, I'm pretty sure, on that car where we went through the whole headache.
Anytime I have an issue or I'm looking for something, I type what I want to see and then I type 5-star just to see if it comes up.
Because I think we did the Impala. Oh, that's cool. Haley and Sue bowl on Thursday nights. That's why they're not here. And she texts me on the way home and she says, "Hey," she goes, "Dude, we're bowling with this guy. We've been bowling with him for years. We always thought he was a hippie. Turns out he's a famous cartoonist. Draws for Marvel." And I go, "You're fucking kidding." She's like, "No." And so he just drew her a picture of Wolverine.
Oh wow!
But like he's because they went and Googled him because they're like who is this guy? He's just they thought he was a pirate. She's like he's like one of those pirates, but he's drawn all these covers, and I was like, oh shit, that's cool as hell. So
you never know who you're talking to.
You usually do, but yeah. So is Vega going to go to Arizona? That'd be next year.
I put the title up.
Yeah. Who else is there? What else is there to do in Arizona? Eat French fries. That's about it.
That's it. And we you will definitely have probably some good food talk next.
No. Oh God, no.
No. Whoa.
Oh no. There's no good food. So Master Tech food is great.
Yeah.
If you're into that. But no, there's Mesa, Arizona. The reason why there's food at Master Tech is because there is no food in Mesa, Arizona. Okay, so you got to drive fucking forever to find something that doesn't suck. I mean,
isn't that a pretty big city too?
You can go down the road because like Mobile Solutions is only like 10 minutes down the road, and there's a giant food court there that you can go to and get good food. But like the 5 minutes around the convention center, there's nothing. There's like one restaurant, and we did go there, and it was terrible. The service was terrible.
Yeah.
The food was okay, but right across the street is the bar, the only bar, and they have food, and it's actually not bad. Like we all went there Saturday night. We went there with Brian. So we went with Brian Mitchell, Fred, and Brad, all from Arc Audio. And I don't remember who else who was with us. I apologize. It was pretty good. And then Brad, who is Mr. Who's the primary at Arc.
Right.
He's Brian's. He's everyone's boss. Really cool dude. Super cool dude. He was on an Instagram that we did for Knowledge Fest when we were out at Andrew Evans' place at Fabricated. So he's about your height. And we're standing there, and he's like, you ain't got nothing to do for another 2 hours. And I'm kind of tired of standing here. And about 50 feet that way is some crinkle fries with our name on it. And I go, I think you're right. And so we went and ate crinkle fries for like 2 hours. It was fantastic.
Right.
And it was like, this is awesome. But yeah, no.
Gotta have crinkle fries. And then if you get like the Shake Shack crinkle fries with their cheese, on point.
You got to be in the mood for cheese on your French fries because
it's different. It's specific. Yeah, it's.
And I prefer to dip.
Yeah.
Than to pour. Like
right.
I can't do drowned food because it just ruins it. Because there's always one or they're always like there's those ones that are just like bathed,
saturated. Yeah.
And you're just like, ugh.
To me, those are the bonus good ones.
Yeah, those are the gross ones. So you're making slam this year. We want to. I mean, it's like we want to do a lot.
Yeah, I will be at Slam this year.
What month is that?
June 7th and 8th, I think. Correct me, Baba, if I'm wrong. So I already took the Friday and Monday off. I'll fly in Friday and fly out Monday.
So I think we have Atlantic City for Knowledge Fest, I think is in June, which will screw that up because we really want to go to Atlantic City.
Yeah.
June 9th through the 8th. Yeah. I think that's literally like the same time as Knowledge Fest. And Atlantic City wins out over Indiana every time. Yeah. So if we don't make it this year, then we'll definitely make it next year because we'll have no reason to go back to that place.
Yeah, once we go to Atlantic City, I've only been once, and that was enough.
Yeah. No, it sucks. Everyone's like, it's gonna be terrible. I'm like, that's fine. I gotta go once, man.
No, I think the boardwalk's kind of cool, and they got like an amusement park right on the ocean. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's honestly that's the only reason why I'm going is because it's like we'll probably have one class, and it'll be right in the middle of the day on fucking Saturday or bright and early Saturday morning, and then that'll be it. And I won't, it'll be like, okay, we're gonna go. Every time I say that, though, it never works out because we usually have to do something for somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it.
Dude, I feel like when you go there, you get like the true Jersey Shore experience, though.
And that's what I'm hoping
for. Shops like Florida, but you know how the t-shirt shops are at Florida. This was like the northeastern take on a t-shirt shop. Which it's just, it's cool. It's old school. I don't ever need to go back because I already seen it. But yeah,
And that's my
you want.
point.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to Tennessee this year because I have to do a thing with Haley.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be fun. We planning to take Annie. Oh, Foca de Chow for lunch Friday and Annie's birthday. Yeah, dude. I tell you what, I've never been to one of those things, but these companies love those fucking places, so they take us there, and it's like those guys with this. It's like
It's like going. It's like someone taking you to a melting pot, and you're like, I'm glad I'm not paying for this.
Yeah. Oh, sure, dude. Because I cannot get my money's worth there. The funniest one we went to was we went to one of those with Kicker. They're like, "Hey, we're going to take you to the other one."
Yeah.
The same, whatever the other, and like I can't remember the guy's name. He doesn't work there anymore. He moved to Michigan, and he's like no personality having at all. He's always really stiff, which is funny because he was a trainer. But Jesus Christ, we took him to that place and he turned into a fucking 3-year-old, man. He's like dancing at the table and shit. I'm going,
damn.
What the hell? Like
Dude.
Ken Bundy. Yes. Yeah, it was Ken Bundy. Yes.
Was it really? It was Ken?
Yeah. It was Ken. Sorry.
That's funny.
Yeah. Dude, because everyone, as soon as he said he was stiff, they all knew who it was.
Yeah.
Dude, that was the funniest time ever. I was like, dude, like, who knew food could transform a personality like that? Jesus Christ.
Dude, I do like when I go to Kicker, I like to keep it. I just like to keep it simple, anyways. They already.
Well, we weren't at this. We were all at a training
at a different spot.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, there's this, and Dean and Fernando are here, so we get to entertain Dean and Fernando, so we can take it one step up. And they're like, let's go here, and then they're like, okay. You know, Sandy was like, we can go do this because we have Dean and Fernando.
Right.
And
put on the company card. Yeah.
Oh shit, man. Ken went like, yeah.
Yeah, this is where I'm eating it. Like, if you ask me where I'm eating when I'm in Stillwater for breakfast, no question, just waffling.
Sure. Is that the place? It's not Waffle House, right? It's just waffling.
Yeah, it's just waffling. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I went there, Bill and the other guy took me there.
Yeah.
It was great. It was fun. I mean, listen, I'm a no frills breakfast kind of guy because I know whatever I eat for breakfast, I'm gonna be pooping out in about 10 minutes. So, it's like I don't eat anything special.
They use the what's it called, the blue plate or the sausage, the blue and gold sausage. I just get the egg, sausage patty, one waffle, done. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Haley's favorite place is IHOP.
IHOP makes the best pancakes.
Yes, they do. That's what you're going there for. Yeah. IHOP's with regular pancakes with the
blueberry syrup.
No, chocolate chips on them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't like chocolate that much, but I like the regular pancakes.
I don't like. Okay. I don't like hot chocolates. Not hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolates. Yeah. So I don't want to eat something it's gooey and melty and.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I never thought about it, but yeah, I really don't like s'mores for that reason.
Yes, I would much rather something about the temperature. Like I can drink hot chocolate when it's cold out, and I will thoroughly enjoy it. But like you give me a melted Hershey bar, and I'm just kind of going.
The marshmallow, on the other hand, solid. Like if you put a melty marshmallow on a non-melted piece of chocolate, ooh, that's
and that's usually what happens.
Yeah,
because I'm like, oh, I can make this any way I want, right?
RVH, get me some Masters tickets, bro. You're there. Let's go see it.
Melted chocolate is gross. Now, so yeah, but fondue is good.
It's good, but
it's different.
Why is fondue good? Because I really don't like melted chocolate.
No, because there again, fondue is different though. Because I feel like I don't know. Fondue is that oddity. It's like the people that don't like onions but will eat onion rings. You know?
I think it's actually Cassie. Yeah. She'll eat onion rings.
Listen,
There's not much,
there's like 5 restaurants in Stillwater, man.
dude. You can see Stillwater once and see all of it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, I'm sure there's stuff outside of town, but it's kind of like the area that the Langoliers are eating, you know, that you're just not interested in. I mean, you have the college, which is a beautiful college. Like, you know, have you ever spent a day walking around the college?
No.
So you can. It's gorgeous. Like one day, when we drove up there, we didn't have anything else to do, and Joe was like, "You guys want to go see the college?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, I really do." The architecture on the college is just I mean, it's fabulous. It's so well designed, and
Well, the downtown area is literally up against that.
Yeah. So we went and got ice cream.
Yeah.
And then we walked to college, and so we could burn off the ice cream because the college is huge. But look, it was gorgeous.
And I still haven't had Eskimo Joe's because every time we go, it is packed to the gills there.
Yeah.
It's like, no thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've been to Hooters, you've been to an Eskimo Joe's.
Yeah.
The only difference is pickles. Is there an after show tonight? There's always an after show.
Every Thursday there's an after show. It's a different show. I will say, let me give you the pitch on Side Jag. If you've never watched it, it's Dean and I without restraints. We talk about everything that we want to talk about during this show, but on that show. And sometimes we'll actually review the movie or the series.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's you can't help it. It's so good. Other times it's just like, that's crap.
Let's see. Why did the battery amp pull 1200 dishwash at 300 amp? Shouldn't have been 3K. That's just the amp. I was running the amp at 4 ohms. The KXA 2400. So that's what it's rated. If I would have loaded it down, I don't think the amp or that battery would have held up. So
you need lots of power. Dude. That's Dune 2. I want to see Dune 2. Everyone's saying like it's the second coming of Christ. So
we need to put it. We need to. Maybe that'll be our next week.
I didn't say I want us to go to the theater.
Wait, I thought it was out. I thought that was on Max.
No, it's still theater only.
Really? Yeah. But the first one went straight to Max, right?
Yeah. This one they're going straight to money.
No, I'm not going to theater to see it. Not after they got me on that first one, on the free one.
Yeah, free's cool, but no. I might watch the first one again just so I can relive. Now that I know 2 is maybe a month away.
Yeah.
You know, in my world, I might watch 1 again, but definitely not going to I got too much shit to do this weekend. Wait, spend 2.5, 3 hours in a movie theater? No, sorry, man. I got to save the world.
Oh, man.
I got other shit I need to do.
It's been so nice here outside of today where it's thunderstorming that I've golfed like 27 holes both days on the weekend. So
that's fabulous, man.
I've been out in the open, enjoying life, then scrambling to put a video out this week.
Dude, I've like last week, obviously we came back and it was brutal just existing. You know, when I was like, we can go Thursday and do 1 show, and you're like, no, I have plans. I was like, oh, thank God. Because I literally hit the bed and was asleep in like 5. I slept like 12 hours that day.
Wow.
It wasn't enough. It's, and this week has just been, this week now it's getting ready for CMA, which is in 3 weeks. And I'm building a amp rack for Memphis for the class I'm teaching. And they went a little crazy, and they're like, "Oh, here's 2 amps and a DSP." I'm like, "Could you just give me a 5-channel and a DSP? Why this?"
Like, I barely knew they made equipment still. So
there's Memphis. They got tons of stuff, man. I got apparently the Viv line. If you're into LED shit, man, that's the stuff to have because like the DSP controls the LED colors and shit. I'm like, oh, well, that's cool.
I think I tested a Memphis not too long ago, a couple years ago. So a newer one, budget line, but
yeah. No, you gotta let it go, man. 1984 was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was an okay movie, but I mean, let's be honest. It was a long time ago. I think it's okay 30 years to come out with a replacement for it. It's not like the other one sucked or it was even that good.
That's what they said about Star Wars too.
Yeah, the originals were way better.
Oh man.
Oh well. Next week, on to the next one.
Yeah. Next week.
Yeah.
We will be here. So 3 weeks. Okay. Yeah. So we got next 2 weeks we'll be here then.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. All right. Then you're going to Canada.
I can't wait. The Canadians are so fun. That's such a cool place.
Never been. I'd like to go, but I've never been.
Yeah, it's fun. They're a really cool group of guys up there.
All right. That's the end of this show. If you guys want to see us talk about The Last Airbender,
or whatever else.
Yeah. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. And
Yeah.
Last Airbender. So.
Yeah. So much.
Quick link. Join us.
All right, guys. See you.